PonyFans.com here with linebacker Pete Fleps. And Pete, through 3 games, you're sort of doing your Chase Kennemer impression. You're leading the team in tackles with 29 through the 3 games. How much of that is your development since last year, and how much of that is the defensive scheme that sort of funnels plays into the middle, directing the plays toward you and Taylor Reed?
I'd say half of it's developed more as a player, as far as instinctively. Just my speed has improved, my knowledge of the defense and situational awareness, and then also our D-line is playing outstanding. Taylor, Marquise, and Margus are all just, they've developed so much, and they're getting great push and opening up lanes for linebackers and putting pressure on the quarterback, so that makes the linebacker's job a lot easier.
All right, now some of your teammates have described you as cerebral and a student of the game, and you have a linebackers coach who's a little bit of a lunatic maybe in Joe Herring, yet he says that you and he have this great working relationship. How does that dynamic work? How does your relationship with Coach Herring work and become so effective that's helped you develop through the last couple of years?
Well, Coach Herring, he's a coach who's been at the highest level, so he knows what needs to be getting out of linebackers to make them perform, and be very effective. And also, he's a demanding coach at times, and he knows when to, be kind of, joking with his players. But Coach Herring and I get along great. He's a great coach, knows the game really well, knows how to develop players well, and he puts high demands on his players, and I think that shows in our performance.
Against Washington State, there was a stretch there in the, second and third quarter where it looked like Ja'Gared Davis was almost unblockable. The radio announcers were talking about how he spent the whole time in the backfield. Talk about his development. How much of it is just this rare athletic ability that he has, and how much of it is him getting more comfortable in the system and getting more comfortable with his teammates around him?
Well, certainly Ja'Gared's athletic ability plays a lot into it, but as he's matured as an outside backer and really beginning to just understand how to come off the edge and be really just kind of dominant against tackles, and just use his quickness and speed to, outmatch tackles and just make it a really long day for him. And when you got a tackle who, doesn't set real well, Ja'Gared's going to take advantage of that, and that was kind of the case at Washington State.
He and Taylor Reed, as sophomores, are both starting along with you and Yuri, and both playing huge roles. How good can those 2 guys be after another couple of years?
Only time will tell. This year you've obviously seen just the progression in their performance and production. So I think as they just develop more physically and mentally, they're going to be really good. So hopefully very good things will be seen out of the SMU linebacking core in the future.
All right, it is rivalry week. It is TCU week. Last year, you guys go out there, and for, a little over a half, you went toe-to-toe with them in the rain in front of their crowd. You had one of the key plays of the game where you stripped Andy Dalton of the ball. Sterling Moore returns it almost for a touchdown, and then they had, an 11-minute review before they overturned that. Was overturning that call the turning point in the game?
I don't think so. We had some costly mistakes in special teams and also turnovers that just took us out of the game. Obviously, if that call had gone in our favor, it would have, dramatically turned the tide of the game probably. But we had some, major mistakes in different areas all across the board that, affected the game significantly.
From your standpoint, going against their offense last year, they had a really good 1-2 punch at running back with Joseph Turner, who was the bigger, stronger, power back, and Ed Wesley. Turner's gone now. Ed Wesley seems to be their lead guy in the backfield. How has their offense changed, relying more on him, and has their play calling changed or their scheme changed when they're going with just Wesley?
No. I think what is enabling the really high production out of Wesley is their offensive line. Across the board, they're all seniors, and I think they have one junior who is a redshirt senior. So they've got a veteran offensive line that are very athletic, very big, and just all around good players. And then you combine that with Wesley's, speed and quickness, just really good athletic ability. You're going to get that type of production. So we got a big challenge ahead of us. but I think they really haven't changed much as far as offense goes.
Traditionally over the years, TCU is a team that you look at and you think very, very good defense for more than a decade now, and a strong running game. But this team is putting up almost 46 points a game, almost 500 yards a game. Are you surprised by how explosive they've been through their first 3 games?
No. Across their entire offense, they've got, just as I said before, their offensive line veterans, but also in their receiving core. With Andy Dalton, is just, he's really come a long way as a quarterback. He can run the ball effectively. He manages the offense well. And, when you take their whole offense as a whole, you shouldn't be surprised that they're, having the production that they do.
Okay, you mentioned Andy Dalton. He's a senior finally. And you look at him, and he's big but not huge. He's fast but not blindingly fast. He's got a good arm, but he doesn't have a cannon that's going to throw it 90 yards. What is it? All he does, though, is win. He's putting up a ton of points. They keep winning. What is it about him that makes him so effective running that offense?
I think a couple of things. He's a smart player. You can see that in the decisions he makes. How he can run the zone read really well. And he can manage a game well. I think he leads their offensive well. So, he's got a number of characteristics that enable their offense to perform at the level they do.
They've got Wesley leading their running game, Dalton running this balanced attack. They've got some very good receivers in Curley and Hicks, and you hear a lot of coaches say that with an explosive offense, you want to make them one-dimensional. Can you take a team like this and make them one-dimensional? And if so, which dimension do you want them to go to?
Obviously, with their running game and it being so dominant, you'd probably want to minimize that if possible. But just I think across the board, you got to diminish their passing attack and their running attack. So because I think if you did try and just completely shut down the run, they're going to open up their passing game because they have the ability to do that. So obviously we want to take away as much as we can, but there are things in the passing game and the running game that we'll need to stop.
Obviously, SMU and TCU aren't in the same conference, but a lot of you guys played high school football together. You've known each other. They're 30 minutes away down I-30. How much of a sense of rivalry is there still in your locker room looking forward to this game?
I think the rivalry has definitely come back. In the past, I don't think there was much. It kind of diminished. So there's definitely seems like there's a greater excitement around the game as we've progressed over the years and had the success last year. So there's definitely much. I think the rivalry is coming back and it's getting to be what it once was. So we're really excited about this game on the national stage against the top 4 team in the country. For pretty much the majority of the guys on this team, this would be the biggest game we've played in ever. So we've got a challenge, and we're looking forward to it.